Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. I have 5 trades that the Oakland Raiders could make in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft. And why am I talking about the first round? Well, we got 3 picks, 4, 24, 27. And we got the nice little second round pick there, number 35. This is going to be one of the most interesting drafts for the Raiders. And I think out of all the teams in the NFL this year, for Chucky Heads, believe it, baby, the Raiders draft is the most interesting. When you look at it from top to bottom, 8 picks, 3 in the first round. Mike Mayock, is he going to be able, as I slur my words, get along with Jon Gruden? People are talking. I know I'm going to be staying close. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube at youtube.com/Raiders Report. Also, with these trades, I put them through the draft value chart. It's the way the NFL teams look at actual picks and value. So if you don't like them, too bad. Get at me on IG or Twitter at MitchellRenz365. All right, let's get it now to my first trade here. Raiders trade up to #1. The Arizona Cardinals hold the #1 pick. And sure, there's been rumors around that they could take Kyler Murray, but maybe they don't want Kyler Murray. Maybe they're looking to trade down and get some extra picks because they have a lot of holes that they need to fill on offense and on defense. And we know that Jon Gruden, I've talked about it on the Raiders Report, has talked with Cliff Kingsbury. Could they jump the 49ers to get the edge rusher that they want? Do they want Josh Allen? Do they want Nick Bosa? You're about to find out. Now, here's the trade that I put together. If the Raiders want to trade up to the #1 pick with the Arizona Cardinals, this is what they're going to have to give up. They're going to have to give up that #4 pick, the 27, and a second-round pick, 35th overall. Like, it is a lot, but when you have the #1 overall pick, that's a lot that you're going to have to give up. So I want you guys commenting below on Facebook and on YouTube if you want the Raiders to do this. Now, I think that there is only one player. There is only one player that the Raiders would give up all those picks for. It's Ohio State's Nick Bosa. And I see the Raiders' biggest need is defensive end, edge rusher. You need to be able to get after the quarterback when you have only 13 sacks in 2018. He is a projected top 2 pick. And 2 months ago, I think he was hands down the #1 pick. And now there's extra rumors that the Cardinals could take Murray. Well, maybe they're not 100% sold on him. And I guarantee you this. Nick Bosa, if he's sitting there for the 49ers at 2, he's gonzo. Raiders jump the 49ers. They get their guy, Nick Bosa. So they're going to have to give up 4, 24, and 35 to get #1. Should the Raiders trade up for Nick Bosa? I want to know from you. I want you to type TU for trade up or SP for stay put. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, let me know in the comment section. I've been getting asked a ton. Mitch, are you guys going to be live for the NFL Draft? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. Where, though? At youtube.com/ChatSportsTV, our main channel here at Chat Sports. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you click on that notification. 3 full days of NFL Draft coverage with my dude, Tom Downey. It's going to be lit. All right, let's go now to this next trade, which I would absolutely love. The Raiders trade back to number 15. The Washington Redskins hold the number 15 pick, and we know that the Redskins are looking for a quarterback. Now, there's been multiple reports that the Redskins are looking at trading for potentially Josh Rosen. Now, let's say they miss on Josh Rosen, and then they're looking at Colt McCoy, Alex Smith, and then Case Keenum, and then they start panicking. Oh, man. And then all of a sudden, John's brother calls him up and says, hey, John, you want to work out a trade? Because we're looking for a quarterback. Maybe the Redskins project this. Now, the Redskins will get #4, and in return, the Raiders receive the 15th overall pick, a 2020 first-round pick, which I don't really think the Redskins are going to be very good, so I expect that one to be a pretty high, at least in the top 15, and then a 3rd-round pick, 96 overall. The Raiders are still trying to retool, so adding 3 extra picks, I think, would be actually pretty good for the Raiders. Now, why would the Redskins trade up to #4? I think the only way that they make this much of a leap and give up that much capital is for one player, and it's for Kyler Murray. Let's say the Cardinals take some other player besides Kyler Murray, then you're looking at the Jets, who also are looking to trade back. I think if Kyler is still on the board at pick #4, the Redskins call up John, they call up Mike, and they say, we want Kyler Murray. We're going to trade up, and we're going to give you an absolute ton for him. But should the Raiders do it, okay? You're the Oakland Raiders. You're sitting there with John. You're sitting there with Mike. You guys are all chatting along, and then all of a sudden Gruden's brother calls you up and says, hey, can we get that? Should Raiders trade #4 pick? Type TB for trade back or type KI for keep it. I want to know from everyone. I also want to get a Raider Nation for life because we hit 14,000 subscribers, and when I hit 15,000 subscribers, we're going to do something crazy. I dyed my hair gray for 10K, and I want to know what you guys think I should do for 15K. But at first, let's celebrate the little things here. Raider Nation for life for hitting 14,000 subscribers. Get it in the comments section. Let's go to my next trade. The Raiders trade back to 31 with the Los Angeles Rams. And Ndamukong Suh, I think, is unlikely to return to the Rams. I think he wants to get paid. And even if, let's say, he does return, I think it's going to be after the NFL draft. And he's an older player, 32 years old, and I don't think he had the best season. But when he wanted to play, Ndamukong Suh, I think, actually started to step up a little bit in the playoffs. And you guys are always asking me, always asking me, should the Raiders go out and get Ndamukong Suh? And he's a good player. I think the name is a little bit bigger. But if you guys get mad at me for mocking Quinnen Williams, why do you want Ndamukong Suh? I'm not quite sure about that. Now, I think that they have their eyes set on maybe a Christian Wilkins. So if Christian Wilkins, let's say, slides down a little bit, and he's there at pick 24, I could see the Rams calling up the Raiders and say, hey, we want Christian Wilkins. We're a little bit unsure about Ndamukong Suh. So then they're going to trade up. So in return, the Raiders will get the 31st overall pick. They get a round 3 pick, so 94 overall, and a 6th round pick, 203. So this is if the Rams are a little bit worried about Ndamukong Suh, and they want to end up trading up for maybe a player like Christian Wilkins, or maybe another defensive tackle, because we know this year's draft class is absolutely stacked with a whole bunch of talent. I want to give a special shout out to today's sponsor, BetDSI, for hooking us up with the best promo code on the internet. It's Raiders120, 120% deposit bonus. If you're not already on BetDSI, I don't even know what you're doing. Go to chatsports.com/bet if you need help getting started with BetDSI. I'm serious. DM me on Instagram and on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. I will walk you through the process. Do you like betting on sports? I would hope. Do you like free money? I would really hope so. BetDSI is going to give you both of those things. Chatsports.com/bet. My next trade, number 18. Trade up to number 18. The Minnesota Vikings currently hold the 18th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. And there's report that the Vikings could be looking to trade back. And why would the Raiders want to do this? We know the Raiders have interest in tight end. And I know I've talked about Noah Fant a whole bunch on here, which we'll get to, in a sec. But if the Vikings want to add more picks, and it's kind of funny to say because the Vikings didn't make the playoffs last year, but I also look at their roster, and I don't know if there's any super glaring needs. So here's what we did. This is what I threw together. I think the Raiders, they trade up to 18, and they get the Vikings 2nd round pick, so 50 overall, and then they give up their 24th overall pick and their 35th pick. Now, I think they do this if a certain player, a certain tight end, is left on the board. You guys can let me know what you think about this. I know that we like having 4 picks in the top 4, or 4 picks in the top 34, but if Noah Fant's the tight end that the Raiders really want, hey, John, go out and get him. I like Noah Fant, and with reports that the New England Patriots could actually do this as well, I don't want Noah Fant on the New England Patriots whatsoever. Tuck rule, tuck that. This guy is one of the most talented move tight ends that I've seen in a long time at 6'4", 249 pounds. He ran a 4.5 40-yard dash, an absolute stellar 3-cone of 6.81. I think TJ Hawkinson is the best tight end in the draft, and I'm also getting my reports there from Tom Downey, who you guys know I respect. But if I see Derek Carr and what he's relied on the last 2 years, he's relied on a move tight end. You trade up with the Minnesota Vikings to get up to pick 18, and if Noah Fant is still there, people are talking. I wouldn't mind it at whatsoever. Now, what are your hobbies, okay? I want to know, what are your hobbies? And when I first started, my hobbies were fantasy football and NFL, and now I do it for work. So now, guess what? I like to make drinks. I like to drink beer and do a whole bunch of other things. And you guys would know that if you followed me on Instagram and Twitter. So I want to give a shout out to everybody who does follow me on IG and Twitter. Icona1355 is the first one. Make sure you guys follow all these people. Dat Boy, Zay, John Maletta, Dom118, and then William Holmes92. Let's spread Raider Nation on Instagram and Twitter. Take a screenshot. Make sure you guys are saving it. Then Twitter, Vic1997, the winner of the Antonio Brown jersey. Hot Wheels, Billy, this is one of my good friends. And then Cole_Best DMs me all the time. Jeremy Wiley, number 5. He's always asking about where the draft's going to be. Jeremy, youtube.com/chatsportstv. All right, let's go to this last trade that I got. Raiders trade up to 21 with the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle has only 4 picks in the 2019 NFL Draft. That is not a typo, I promise you. So what would the Seahawks want? The Seahawks want to add more capital. They want to add more draft picks. And I think if a top cornerback slides, you could see the Raiders do this trade. Jon Gruden came out last week and said, we need to add another cornerback. We want to have 5 cornerbacks because he's a little bit nervous about the injury of Garyon Conley last year, and they dealt with some depth issues. So the Raiders give up the 27th, their 4th round pick at 106, and their 5th round pick at 140. Now the Seahawks have more than 4 picks, right? Yeah, 6, and the Raiders get the 21st pick and hopefully get a corner. Now here are the top corners in the 2019 NFL Draft. I would love if Greedy slid. I don't think Greedy's going to slide all the way to 21, but I think Byron Murphy and DeAndre Baker are definitely 2 options there. I don't think Tavon Mullen or Rocky Center options at pick 21. But we've seen players who we always say there's no way he's going to slide. Derwin James is a perfect example. He slid all the way to 17. If Greedy slides to 21, I think the Raiders give the Seahawks a call. Maybe go out and get Greedy. Garyon Conley, that'd be a nice duo. I also like Byron Murphy a lot. Heck, I mocked him to the Raiders at pick 27. Now, those are my 5 trade projections. And if you don't like them, here's the really cool thing about what we do here at Chat Sports. You can let me know. And the really cool thing about social media, you can let me know. So I want you guys to send me your trade projections on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. Let me know what you think the Raiders could do in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.